on the Pretenders, but no Pretenders here, folks.
Now, is that our president's theme song?
Well, that's usually for John Kerry, but actually,
that's right.
This is divine intervention because it fits right in here. I mean, you want to know about Pretenders?
Another one for John Kerry because he was on these boats over Vietnam was the good ship Lollipop, right?
By the way, and we'll be talking about this more on Sunday night. John Kerry has admitted that Assad is using chemical weapons in Syria, and it's going on and on and on, regardless of the red line in the sand. All right, we got a couple of callers on the line, and then there's a little tidbit about Michelle Obama that we want to talk about, too. So let's go to, by the way, real quickly, from this article in the Wall Street Journal, I just want to read a couple more paragraphs. This is about the new girl in school. It is a transgender moment. President Obama was hailed just for saying the word transgender in a State of the Union speech this year, and a list of people who should not be discriminated against. They are characters in popular television shows. Bruce Jenner's transition from male sex symbol to a comely female named Caitlyn, well, I don't know about that.
Feminists are upset about that.
Has elevated her back to public profile as a gold medal decathlete in the 1976 Olympic Games. With growing tolerance, the question is no longer whether gender reassignment is an option, but rather how young should it begin. No law prohibits minors from receiving sex change hormones or even surgery. No law prevents this. But insurers, both private and public, have generally refused to extend coverage for these procedures to those under the age of 18. In March, New York's Medicaid drew a line at that age and at 21 for some procedures.
So at 18?
That's
boom,
too,
baby.
That's too young.
Right.
Too young. Well, let's see what Barry has to think. Barry, thanks for calling and waiting. We appreciate you being out there.
Good evening.
Thank you.
Okay, that article about Johns Hopkins, they started doing sex reassignments in the late 60s, early 70s.
They were some of the first ones to do it. That's right.
Researched it and found, as you mentioned, a very high suicide rate as these people got to middle age. Stop. Additionally, there are laws in California and 2 other states in the United States. Physicians, psychiatrists from counseling children regarding their gender identity.
Yeah, as a matter of fact, that law in California just went into effect last year, I believe. And you're absolutely right. And by the way, the Johns Hopkins research also showed that with counseling, most of these people kind of came out of it. Is that would be the right way to express this? In other words, kind of came to their senses or were okay with who they were without having to go through this business?
Don't you think there should be a little bit more publicity on this? I mean, why wasn't that written on the front page of the Wall Street Journal?
Yeah, because we're talking the New York Times. That's right.
Yeah.
Barry, I want to thank you for calling. By the way, have you gotten any Roxy Pacifics yet? I guess we lost Barry. We had a little bit of a rough connection there, but he's absolutely right.
But, I mean, think how important this is, the John Hopkins study, because, again, here everybody spends day and night discussing this issue on television, radio, everything else, and let's really look at how important is this to the health of these people.
Yeah. Well, the Johns Hopkins study showed it, and they quit doing the surgery in 2004, I believe it was, over 11 years ago.
Long time ago.
Yeah, and then also issued recommendations that other hospitals do the same. In other words, stop performing these surgeries and offer counseling to these people who are obviously dealing with issues. Let's face it. Let's say it like it is. There is something wrong.
Now,
and this is not normal behavior, period. That's end of story.
Do you think our president, if he wasn't playing golf, might have picked this up, being John Hopkins is so close to the White House?
No,
I don't think so.
No,
it doesn't suit his agenda.
That's right. It doesn't matter if he did pick it up. It's not going to be mentioned, I can assure you.
But remember, this is all about me, all about feeling good, all about instant gratification.
All about you. You're not
me personally.
Let's go to JJ now. JJ, thank you for calling. JJ, thank you for calling.
Oh, yeah, thanks.
Well,
I was just thinking to myself, for one thing, you can't change your chromosomes.
Right.
Your gender's Y chromosome will so that it's raised in Y chromosome.
The DNA is the same as it was when he was conceived. That's right.
The man is to be pitied.
Yeah.
He's mixed up, and he doesn't accept himself as God made him, and that's why the suicide rate is so high, because those people can't find peace apart from Christ anyway, but they're thinking it's going to be in gender reassignment. But the other thing is, I thought, I bet you there's going to be only a matter of time where somebody commits a murder, and they, as one person, like Bruce Jenner, say this for hypothetically, now if it comes out that he did something, I'm not saying he did, but this is an example, that now he's Caitlyn, Bruce Jenner's dead, so he's legally now Kate Jenner.
Well, there's that traffic accident where he's being charged, I believe, with vehicular manslaughter as Bruce. Yeah, so if he's Caitlyn, perhaps that will be another legal issue. And it's in California, so anything can go out there. Hey, JJ, thanks for calling. We appreciate you being out there. We hope to see you at Cafe Positano Monday, too. And, okay, appreciate you calling.
It's a mess.
It is a mess. But it gets down to something that I believe it was Al earlier who called, where he was talking about his friends talking about truth being relative.
Right.
That's what liberals are doing. And the First Lady's been doing that, too.
Well,
with her reconstruction of history.
I got a kick out of this. This sort of goes along with our 10 poorest cities. Michelle recently reminded attendees at a naturalization ceremony that the founding, I love this, that the founding fathers weren't born in America, right? Weren't born in America, founding fathers. Michelle, now, if I understand this, and maybe I don't, supposedly you graduated from Harvard, right? Now, you know, I went to Penn State, not Harvard, but maybe now better than Harvard, without a doubt. But Michelle, just to enlighten you a little bit, of the 56 individuals who signed the Declaration of Independence and participated in drafting the Constitution, 48 were born in America. You forgot that. And, you know, you were only off by about 56. I mean, isn't that terrible? I mean, and nice preparation for these people who became citizens. They probably did it the normal way, not being given citizenship. And I think when you were thinking about the fact that all these people weren't born in America, you were probably thinking about your husband.
Yeah. Well, this all goes to the same problem, and that is that liberals have a screwed up impression of the world. Their perception of the world is backwards, upside down, inside out, however you want to describe it.
But Chris, how could you just say those things to this group of people? Just outright either
lie.
Or I guess that's
a lie. Well, you know, it's like Hitler said: the bigger the lie, the better. The bigger the lie, the more you say it, the more believable it becomes.
And you say it often enough, it'll become the truth.
And when it's part of the overall narrative, which that narrative being that white men are the source of all evil in the world, I guess
none of them were there.
Yeah, that's right. All right, but folks, we'll be here until 7 o'clock. Now, the Rays pregame show is starting, but you can still catch us at am660theanswer.com, or perhaps you already loaded this in your iTunes app and all that stuff in your smart device. But we will be here until 7. We'll keep taking those calls. Got some great calls tonight. We appreciate it.